Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Pause the video right now to check out my social media, my radio show, and thatdrummerguy.com. And most of all, enjoy the following presentation.
Hi, is this Josh?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Josh, this is Adrian Patrick with the band Otherwise.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm all right, buddy. I know I'm a couple minutes early, but I thought maybe we could jump on it.
Oh, not a problem. That actually works out great for me, and I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview.
Oh, dude, thank you for thinking about us and including us, man. I mean, every little bit of push helps, you know what I mean? So thank you.
Oh, absolutely no problem. I had the great opportunity to be able to see you guys a few years back when you were opening for Papa Roach and Stone Sour, so it's a great opportunity and honor for me to be able to talk about the brand new album from Otherwise, Sleeping Lions, coming out September 22nd through Century Media.
Yeah, dude, we're excited, man. And, you know, the great thing is that everybody's excited across the board. You know, our management, our label, our booking agent, our legal team, you know, the guys that we did the co-writes with on the record. Everybody's just really amped up, man, and things feel positive and like, you know, like uplifting for once in a long time, man. So it's a good feeling.
Yeah, and I definitely hear that throughout the album too. I mean, not to say that the previous two albums were not uplifting in their own sort of ways, but with the new album, I mean, it feels so fresh and inspired with some of the catchiest choruses you guys have ever done to date, some of the best hooks and riffs. I mean, you guys definitely nailed it this time around.
Dude, Josh, thank you so much, man. It's a compliment of the highest order, and a lot of that we have to attribute to, you know, again, not only the talented dudes that we sat down and co-wrote with, but you know, our guys, Brian and Tony, you know, they really stepped up to the plate on this record and helped my brother and I, as you so succinctly put it, you know, like really kind of achieve our best potential for this record, you know, as well as our producer Bob Marlette. You know, everybody was chock full of great ideas, and you know, it was an amazing process, man. And I think that the album speaks for itself, you know, once you listen to it.
Oh, very much so. And yeah, I mean, it shows a lot. I mean, considering all the journey that you guys have had so far, the fact that you guys were able to come together with this third album and reach out to the right sources, whether it be through management or the co-writers or just your guys yourselves. I mean, just like going in, reaching in, and just writing the best potential songs. And every single song on here feels like it's a potential hit to me.
Oh, dude! I mean, that's kind of what we always do, man. We try to swing for the fences on every single song and every chorus that we come up with, and you know, even on the past two records, we actually kind of had that problem, a good problem in a sense, where it was kind of hard to pick. You know, what's going to be the radio single? What's going to be the next you know, radio song? And again, it's, you know, we're just grateful that we're even in this position again to be able to have that problem once more, you know.
So, how have you guys decided at this time around what songs are going to be chosen for it?
It was, you know, it kind of, we really did have a lot of good input. This is the first time that we've actually worked with A&R. You know, the vice president of A&R at our label, a gentleman named Mike Gitter, played a very pivotal role in deciding, you know, helping us kind of like trim the fat, so to speak. And, you know, our managers you know, for this album, Josh, this album cycle is different in so many ways because we are different in so many ways. We have a new management team. We have a new booking agent. Our label got bought out by Sony, of all monsters, you know, and things feel really fresh. So a lot of the ideas and opinions that everybody had were outside of the box, and then people wanted us, everybody on the team wanted us to kind of push the boundaries and kind of challenge ourselves and our fans as well to, you know, like embrace a fresh new direction, so in a sense.
And that's amazing to hear that all the higher ups were wanting you to go in those directions as well, because there's so many labels out there that just want you to stick to the same formula because that's what they found you in the first place. But the fact that they actually want you to go out and keep writing the best material that you can rather than just sticking to the normal, I mean, that's so refreshing to hear.
Yeah, and it was invigorating to be a part of it too, especially after some of them they got to see us live, with the new lineup, so to speak. Tony's been with us, our bass player. He's a multi-instrumentalist, just a masterful musician across the board. He's been with us for a couple of years, and Brian's the newest member of the team, but there was some I guess question marks as far as us moving forward as a four-piece. And, once we embarked on our headlining tour this past summer, Coming for the Gods Tour 2017, all of those, any inkling of doubt was kind of dashed, and it really feels good for us to be able to step forward leaner and meaner and present, the best version of Otherwise that I think we've found to date. And again, when these same executives finally got to see that, they were like, okay, now we understand that, you guys are a slightly different animal than what was first expected. And that's the great thing about the band name itself. The band, the definition of the word Otherwise is other than supposed. And that's what we've always strived for that. Or strove? Is it strived or strove? What's the correct past tense? I'm not sure, but this whole process has been extremely refreshing and again invigorating. It's reinvigorated us and reminded us, why we keep sacrificing what we do to be able to do what we do.
Yeah, and it was absolutely worth it when it comes to Sleeping Lions. I mean, yeah, anytime that a band goes through different changes, whether it's a complete shakeup of the lineup or you add a member or you just lose one member, I mean, the whole formula of the band could change. But it's great to see that as a four-piece that you guys were able to come up with some of the strongest material that you guys have done to date and have that also come into the live setting as well, because that matters just as much.
Yeah, again, we really got down to brass tacks on so many aspects of the band and the business itself. We really kind of had a spring cleaning, a late spring cleaning, so to speak, I guess. But all of this new kind of positive energy and these very the attitudes, the supportive and friendly and just just good. It's just everybody has a good attitude now, and whereas that wasn't always the case in the past. We didn't always get along. And I mean even now we have our tiffs and stuff like that, but it's more of a team than it has been. And again, I can't stress how good it feels to be able to say that.
Yeah, and I definitely know that from experience with different bands I've been a part of in the past, where if not everybody is working towards the same goal, if there are issues that are potentially going to destroy the band, there's got to be something you got to do to be able to change that. And sometimes that does take a member of the original lineup out of the equation and just replace it with something better, because you just want to move to that right goal of being able to have the band continue on and write the best music possible while everyone in the band is happy. And and when you can't do that, then the music starts to suffer, the live shows start to suffer, and the band themselves start to suffer. So when you do have that full lineup with everyone working towards the same goal, the same happiness, the occasional tiff, that's bound to happen between people, but when you all are working towards the same goal, it just makes everything so much better.
Yeah, and we've been through that process, which you just described, and we learned the hard way. And what my brother and I discovered, I think, is that probably the biggest opponent is ego. When everybody has an ego, you get nowhere. And the worst thing is, the thing about having a big ego is that it's contagious. When somebody is, if a certain band member has an ego that's maybe a little, over the top, and they kind of think they're better than they really are, then you almost sometimes, when you're surrounded by that on a constant basis, you almost kind of have to take on that persona too, just to kind of defend your own ground in your own personal space, and it's just really, just becomes, the ego just becomes this kind of cancer that just spreads. And thankfully now with Tony and Brian, we've really been able to minimize that, and we get along, man. I actually enjoy being on stage with these guys. I enjoy their company. I enjoy being stuck in a van with them for hours on end. As incredible as that might sound, And I mean, we've been in big old buses on some of the biggest tours and biggest stages in the past, and we weren't happy. And now we kind of, again, gone back to, as they say in The Godfather, gone to the mattresses and started over again at square one. And it's revitalized our spirit for wanting to be rock and rollers.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people forget that, especially, I think 2017 is a great indication of that with so many people we've lost this year in the rock community, that popularity does not equate to happiness. I mean, just because a band is doing successfully on the radio does not mean that all the individual members are happy with what's going on. And when you go through all those struggles, I mean, it's great that you have like a top 40 single, or this album is starting to chart all over the world, or whatever the case is. But if not everyone's happy in the band, and if you're not happy with yourself, you're not going to be able to appreciate that. So when you are able to find that lineup where everyone is feeling the same way, it's the same level of happiness, and if anyone's feeling down, they're able to bring them back up, and just get that band going in the right direction, which I can clearly hear that you guys have done with this album. And I can definitely hear from a musician, lyrical, all that standpoints, that when you get everyone together like that, you can really start to appreciate everything that you guys have worked for.
That means a lot, Josh, especially, coming from a fellow musician, man. So, we really appreciate you thought and foresight into just listening to the record. And for you to be able to catch on and appreciate that, that's a great sign for us, man. That's a huge positive omen. And, the thing about our current lineup right now is that we're able to make each other laugh a lot, and it's not forced. It's kind of effortless. We're just buddies, and we're bandmates, we're business partners, but we're also buddies, and that's kind of a new thing for me and my brother. So we're excited. We can't wait for everybody to hear this album. Again, it comes out September 22nd. Some of the first single, Angry Heart, is of course available on all the outlets right now. And there's a couple of instant gratification tracks that are out that kind of showcase the little bit of that new shimmer that we're shooting for. You brought up the losses that we've had, especially with Chris and Chester. We never got a chance to meet Chris, but we were fortunate enough to meet Chester a couple of times, and he was such he was just a very kind person. And our newest releases that's going to be forthcoming here very, very shortly in the next week or so is a song called Suffer that we actually co-wrote with Clint Lowry from Seven Dust, and it's taking on that exact issue of depression. And why is it that as human beings we're programmed, and it's so much easier to be unhappy than it is to be happy, just naturally and intrinsically, and we're hoping that the song, and we're gonna, some of the proceeds of it are gonna hopefully go to Lincoln Parks. We're trying to work with Lincoln Parks camp right now to set something up for their charity that they developed in Chester's memory. So it's always about turning whatever you can into a positive.
Yeah, and that's definitely a great way to go about it, and that's what I really appreciated when I first heard Suffer when I was going through the album. Is I'm a longtime sufferer of depression and anxiety myself, so like 2017 with all these great heroes, and like I mentioned before, that popularity does not equate to happiness. I mean, it rang so true this year. So when I was able to hear a song like this, and just like the more that I kept going back to it, the more I was just listening to the lyrics, hearing the riffs going along with it. I mean, it really spoke a lot to me as someone suffering through depression. And I'm glad that you guys were able to take something sad like this, and not always the intention, but just like taking something like depression, shining a new light on it, and trying to get it out there, because people need to know more about it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There's a lot of, I know this, we realize that this world can be a very ugly place, but it's also a beautiful place, and no matter how, that's the one message that we want people to take from all of our music, our entire catalog, from True Love Never Dies to Peace at All Costs, Lost, and now Sleeping Lions. You know, we want people to just remember that as dark and as dismal as it sometimes feels, you just can't give up on yourself. If you lose hope, then you've lost pretty much everything, you know. And we want people to, when they listen to our music, to just be reminded that there is hope. There's always hope. As long as there is life, there is hope. And you know, we are walking examples of that. So it is our honor to take on that burden.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say that too. You know, with you know, the struggles of just being in a band, let alone like inner turmoil that happens and having to change the lineup and everything. You know, there's just like so many struggles that makes you want to quit the band. But then there are so many great moments that do happen, whether it's playing live or recording a new song or coming up with a new riff or whatever the case is, where you find that passion to want to keep going. And it's great that you guys were able to complete the full lineup and be able to get everything rolling again for this album, because, you know, it's just like it hits home on so many levels lyrically and musically that I know when it does come out in September through Central Media that a lot of people are going to be able to grasp onto it for one reason or another, and truly appreciate what you guys have recorded.
Oh, dude, that means a lot, Josh. Thank you so much, bro. That's you're making me blush over here, man. And that's not an easy thing to do to this dirty little Vegas boy.
And speaking of that, of course, with the album coming out next month through Central Media, what's the plans after the album drops for you guys?
Well, we do our CD release party in Las Vegas on September 15th. Actually, just the weekend prior to the official release at the world famous Hard Rock Hotel. And then just about a month, no, sorry, not a month, just about 3 weeks later, we're heading out on a really cool tour with our buddies in 10 Years and the dudes in Red. And we're really excited about that because we've toured with both of those bands separately in the past, and both tours were, you know, resoundingly successful. So now to be able to you know, combine them, and, you know, and some of the rooms we're playing, in fact, most of the rooms we're playing are like are high quality, top notch, you know, rooms for a musician to be able to step on a stage inside of. And, you know, I just spoke with our management a couple days ago that the pre-sales for the tour is already doing really well. And that's going to last about a month from, I want to say, and don't quote me here, Josh, but I want to say October 14th through like November 15th or 16th or something like that.
Ah, cool. Yeah, I mean, that's such a great lineup right there. I mean, all three bands like bringing their different styles of hard rock together. I mean, that's definitely going to make for a great night.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, both of those bands are very creative, and I you know, they both have their own unique, you know, sonic signature, and that's what I'm excited about, is to, you know, for us to finally get, you know, now we're playing on a tour, and like we're getting to, you know, be around some really creative dudes that we kind of aspire to be like. You know, we want to be also considered that kind of a band. You know, we don't want to be just your standard butt rock band. You know, and it feels really good that people are kind of starting to take notice of that.
And with that said, I mean, when you are able to get these opportunities and, you know, you're about to promote your third album, how hard is it to be able to pick what songs you're going to be playing live?
It's difficult. It is a difficult thing, especially for the new material. You know, I mean, obviously we have our radio songs and our staples that our supporters are familiar with. So, you know, we definitely are able to fall back on those. But when it comes to new music, you know, it is difficult to try and be like, okay, which one do we play? And especially when you write, like a good chunk of this album was written in the studio. So we not only have to decide, well, which ones do we want to play, but we also have to say, okay, which ones can we relearn, teach ourselves our own songs? Which ones can we do that the most efficiently and effectively, and be able to present them in, you know, again, you know, give them the best presentation possible, you know. And it's a tricky situation, but I will say this, that, you know, on this headlining tour we did this past summer, we played a handful of new songs from the record, and they were received, you know, with open arms and open hearts, and it was again a very good feeling to witness that.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be one of the best feelings out there. I mean, it's one thing to be able to go out and do a headlining show and play the songs that everybody already knows from the band and are already familiar with and enjoying it, but when you're playing new material and it goes over well and they're enjoying what they're hearing, I mean, that's a great feeling knowing that you're still on the right path.
Yeah, and yeah, that's you nailed it on the head, buddy. And one of the things that I found most amazing about these new songs is that by the second or third chorus, a lot of the crowd was like singing the words. You know, like it is almost as if it was familiar to them already. You know, and that's a good sign when, you know, a song is easy for a mass of humanity to be able to sing it together, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
And it shows the quality of what you guys can do too to make people latch on and remember those songs from hearing it the first time like that. I mean, the fact that you guys are able to write something that memorable right off the bat, I mean, with new material live, I mean, that shows a lot of what you guys can do.
Oh, thank you, Josh. We try. We want to put out the best that we can, you know, and not only obviously for our fans, but also for ourselves as well. You know, we want to make sure that everybody in the room that we are playing to, including the band on stage, is happy with what is taking place. We want everybody to get high off the energy of being alive and being a part of something bigger than ourselves, you know. So
yeah, and that's the amazing thing about live music. I mean, you are able to have like the shared experience with music that really means something to you, and when you are able to latch onto a band like Otherwise, who does have that power of positivity going on, especially now with all the gears working in the inner system of Otherwise, the fact that you guys are able to exploit that into the audience and be able to make some great shows for that. I mean, there's no reason to not go out and see you guys and be able to share that experience, especially if you enjoy the music.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, that's spoken like a true musician and an artist yourself, brother. So hopefully we'll get to see you at a show on one of these upcoming runs.
Oh yeah, I would definitely love to be able to see that. I mean, if you guys are hitting up the Minnesota area, I'd love to be able to see you guys again.
Yeah, I believe that. I want to say that we're getting close to it, but if not, I'm not sure what's going to be coming down the pipe after our run with 10 Years in Red. But you know, I definitely want to get up to that area, because we've actually gotten added to a couple of stations up there. I can't remember their exact. One of them is like Little Falls, Minnesota, I think, or something.
Yes.
And we've never been there before, and you know, we definitely want to come back up there. We want to get up there. You know, breaking new ground is some of what we love. You know, probably the most about touring. So.
Yeah, and that's the other great thing too. You know, it's like when you are able to go on the road and you are able to hit up these places you'd never dreamed you'd be able to even visit, let alone be able to play live in, and you find out that you either have an audience, or even better yet, you win over the audience for somebody else, and you are able to just like make that impact and have that lasting impression that makes people want to keep coming back and checking you out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, we've been fortunate enough to where we've been able to accomplish that to a certain degree in a lot of different markets, and we just want to reinforce that with this new record, this tour coming up, and just the whole new outlook we have, man, on life.
Oh, very much so. Well, you know, again, thank you so very much for taking all this time to talk to me about everything that's going on in the world of Otherwise. And of course, the album Sleeping Lions, the third album from Otherwise, is coming out September 22nd through Century Media. And I've had the distinct honor to be able to have the album for a few weeks now and be able to really dissect all the songs on here. And like I mentioned earlier, it feels like every single song is a hit radio single, and you know, it just makes things that much harder to be able to pick out what songs are actually going to be on the radio. But I think once people check this out, they're going to feel that power of positivity that's going on with the band. They're going to hear some amazing riffs, some very catchy choruses, and some of the best songwriting you guys have done to date.
Oh man, thank you, Josh. That means so much, brother, and we really appreciate you spreading the good word, my man.